Okay, so for this question, it says that the graph of y equals x squared, and I'm just going to draw a rough sketch here. Y equals x squared is a parabola, faces upward, and has the vertex at the origin. Okay, so it looks something like this, right? Y equals x squared. It's translated 4 units to the left and 5 units up. Okay, so determine the equation of the function. Okay, so 4 units left. And let's focus on the vertex, okay? 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5 units up. 3, 4, 5. So this point right here is going to go over to this spot right here, okay? Everything's going to move to the left and then up. So that means that all of the points go left and up, left and up. And so the parabola kind of looks like this, right? And so it doesn't really want us to graph it, but it wants us the equation. So y equals g of x. Okay, so that means that if we're looking at the equation, so g of x, that's the new equation. Okay, y is our y equals x squared is our old equation. So the new equation. Now the function part is going to be the x squared. Okay, so f of x equals x squared. So g of x is going to be this. We have to go to the left 4 units. So inside with the x has to be a plus 4. Okay? So x plus 4 squared. You see how I have the x squared here? There's the x squared. But now I've changed the parameter. It's not plus 0 anymore. See, it's not just sitting here. It's got to go now to the left 4 units. And how do I show that? I put a plus 4 inside with the x, right in beside the x. And then I still have that function around it. It's a squared function. So I have the squared in there. So that's how that looks. That's the left part. Now the moving up part is the k value. I could put it on this side, over here, right? Or it's easiest to go over here, and it's got to go up 5 units. So that just is a plus 5 there. So that's how this actually looks. This is the new, should be the new equation right here. G of x is x plus 4 all squared plus 5. Now let's just check that real quick. Okay, graphing calculator. Let's do graphing calculator. Okay. So let's turn this puppy on. Let's get there and let's clear all that. So x squared, and I'm also going to do this one, x plus 4 bracket squared plus 5. All right. So let's graph both of those. So there's the first one. Oh, look at that. There's the other one. So that looks pretty close to what we were anticipating, right? So it looks like we've done that. Okay, now let's just trace, and let's go to the other one. And I wonder, okay, so let's just estimate where this vertex is. And look at that, negative 4 plus 5. So we're on the right track. See that? Okay. So that's A. Now, you said you had problems with B, right? So what are the domain and range of the image function? So this new function is the image function. Okay? The image function is g of x. So what's the domain and range? Well, for any parabola, the domain is all values of x. It's always, for any parabola. Now why is that? Because it goes forever left and forever right, okay? But it also goes, well, that's just the domain. It goes forever left and forever right. So it just keeps going out and out and out like this forever. So the domain, you write it like this, the brace brackets, and you just say x is an element of all real numbers. That's all I require. You can just write that, that's fine. There's other notation in the textbook, whatever, it's fine. That's good. The range now. Okay, so the range is the y values. Notice on this image function that the lowest point is this y equals 5, right? Because we moved the original one up 5 units. So the lowest point is 5. The parabola is above that. So the range is going to be y values, always the range is always y, is greater than or equal to what number? 5. Okay? And again, you don't have to put comma y element of r. Don't worry about that. I understand this. This is good. Okay? So that's all you need to put for me. I understand what you're saying there. Now, does that make sense? Okay? The y values are all greater than 5. It's all these y values right here for the points on the graph. Okay, finally, C. How could you use the description of the translation of the function y equals x squared to determine the domain and range of the image function. Okay, well there's a good idea. How could you use the description of the translation? What about mapping notation? I'm going to go x minus 4, and I'm going to go y plus 5. Right? That's the mapping notation. X comma y goes to this. Now, for a parabola, the domain is always all real numbers. So we don't have to worry about the domain. It doesn't matter if it moves left or right. Not for this one. But, look at this. This is the y value, okay? And the whole parabola moves up 5 units. So as long as we know that this parabola opens upward, this right here is the minimum point for the range. So this right here tells us what the range is, where the range sort of starts. If it opens downward, well then 5 is the max, right? And then it's everything below 5. But if it opens upward, here now it's everything above 5. So I guess, I mean, not having really read this question before, I think that's what I would do for C. You'd say, well, on the mapping notation, it's y plus 5, so I realize that the vertex, the lowest point on the y equals x squared, is at 0, 0. So if I move all the y values up, that means the lowest point goes up to y equals 5. Therefore, that's where my range starts. Okay? All right? So that's number 9.